Hey everybody, it's Thunder in the morning in the desert, doing another little vid here on life in general, I guess. My last video was about nuclear winter, so that was a little depressing for some, I think. But you know what? I meant it to be that way because we're on the precipice. We still are. In fact, right now it's so quiet that it's scary, because I hate it when it gets quiet because something's in the works. Okay. Something is coming down the pipe here, and we just hope that it isn't some dumb shit thing worse than it already is. And to top it off, I got to laugh. I watched a debate last night. Let me just say right now, thunder for president. uh, Man, I'll tell you what, I was picturing myself up there on the stage and those people asking me, those rude people that ask the questions that are totally biased, uh, totally unfair, okay? Just rude, okay? Basically, just rude. Not to mention that both candidates are, man, I don't know. Again, I'm not voting for anybody. I don't vote. I think that basically they're both vying for who could be the USA's biggest puppet, okay, because everybody is controlled once they get in there. Um, it seems like there is an insider and an outsider, though. And again, I'm not going to say if I favor one person or another. You might be able to garner that by what I'm about to say, but I'm not going to go there. Because again, I was picturing myself up there and how I would answer questions. First of all, I really hate this. I hate this thing about playing the sex card. Okay, on both ends of the spectrum, both of them played it. Um, that's always, women should be really pissed off, not at the fact that somebody says something about them as far as sexually wanting them or being attracted to women or wanting to do certain things to women. That's just kind of normal, okay, on both ends of the spectrum. And I've heard women talk about men and men talk about women in the same friggin' way. What I'm saying here is that women should get tired of not men talking about them in a certain way, but being used, okay, as a way or a means to bring somebody down, and they do it every fucking time. Take Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks guy that is one of the best things that happened to this world as far as exposing leaks and revealing truth. Well, what happened to him? Well, he got some charges brought up against him from Sweden on a sex issue that really is non-relevant, and he's been a prisoner in an embassy in London uh, for what, 3 years now, because if he ever got extradited, they would immediately send him to America and pull all kinds of bullshit on him. But why is he there? Because they went and they got certain women, or they got certain individuals that are women, to say he did something when they full well knew that they consented to do it. Okay. Again, it's just it's a small petty bullshit stuff It's pathetic, really. I mean, you got two individuals up there. One of them's husband was the biggest flirt and sexual. I mean, if you, I wouldn't say sexual deviant. I'd just say people in normal lives do things. Okay, they're men and women do things, and later they're when it's found out that they do these things that I call, quote, normal things that everybody does, the sex drive, all that whole bullshit. And one man's morality is another man's immorality. All that stuff is insignificant, doesn't mean a shit, okay? In regards to how well you would handle a situation as president or whatever. Okay, let's just give them the fact that they're both normal and they're both imperfect and they both have sexual needs and wants. Oh, man. Um, but let's get down to the nitty gritty of what they would do in a situation like we're in right now with Syria. Forget about all this. Did you pay your taxes? And what do you do in your sexual life? And what the fuck does that have to do with what you do facing a situation like we face in Syria? And I look to see when I look at it. I actually, when I was watching the debate, I was laughing my ass off because I was like, "Are you kidding me? I mean, this is what people are putting all their energy into right now. Is these two clowns up there going at each other?" And man, some of those looks that Hillary got on her face when she was cornered, that this phony, bogus smile thing, that she goes into, where she's like, "Am I? Did I just take a hit of laughing gas or something?" It's like, smiling in the face of adversity, uh, but not just a clown smile of like I said, sniffing too much laughing gas. Watching the body language is a trip. Uh, but anyway, I digress here. Uh, when somebody asks about Syria and what they're going to do in Syria, I look to see how knowledgeable people are and to see if they know the intel that I know. I'm starting to think, is my intel base more expansive and more in depth than the intel bases that they have at their disposal? Uh, Probably so. Based on their answers, and or are they just evading and shirking responsibility as far as owning up to what they know about the USA's involvement in supporting terrorists? And let's get to the nitty gritty here. They could never answer a question about Syria truthfully, because the deep state is the ones that runs the politicians, are the ones that run the politicians. And the deep state is causing all kinds of freaking problems around the world with supporting and funding terrorists. And when they ask them about ISIS, they ask like ISIS is some kind of enemy that evolved from the Middle East and is a terrorist threat to the world. No. If they were truthful, they would just say outright, these people are created by us. And see, they can't say that. They can't say, yeah, this ISIS is really our proxy army that we formed to overthrow Assad so that we could get oil and resources. Can they say that? Well, fuck no, they can't say that. uh, and that's what makes this whole thing a joke. Um, makes the whole fucking thing a joke, man. They're up there just play acting, is what they're doing. They're play acting for the dumbed down American audience or world audience, but mostly American audience because they're the ones that are going to vote. The dumbed down, the puppet show, the big distraction, okay, to take us away from the real issues of that the world's on the brink of nuclear annihilation, that the neocons are pushing war hard, that the economy is about ready to collapse. So basically, you got two puppets. You got a puppet show up there. You know, it's like somebody manipulating those hand puppets. You know, sock puppets. Uh, they got their handlers and their manipulators, and it's just like a shadow show, baby. Seriously, uh, it is. It's so absurd. The theater of the absurd. Okay, the theater of the absurd. People are looking at the shadows on the wall, and there's all kinds of monstrous shit right around the corner that's ready to befall us all. And then, you know, you got this complete circus of really issues that are about people's personal lives that don't matter at all. Okay, and I don't want to make any enemies here when I say this sexual. It doesn't matter. You know Thunder's viewpoint on sexual matters and morality and all that stuff. It's all a crock of shit. Okay, people judging other people about sexual matters outside of politics. I'm not even talking politics, okay? One person judging another person on sexual matters or what they say or what they do. First thing I'd do if I got up there and somebody said, "You said this or you said that," I'd say, "So the fuck what?" I'm a free spirit. I can do anything I want and I can say anything I want. So what are you going to do about it? I'm truthful. That's the main thing. I'm truthful. Okay. But, you know, the way they portray it, like a little kid that got caught with his hand in the candy jar, it's laughable. It's freaking laughable. Because both of those kids, okay, Hillary and Trump, both got their hands in all kinds of candy jars, okay? Uh, both of them are not what you would call of a high spiritual caliber. See, that's what I look for. I look for somebody with a high spiritual caliber that is beyond, okay, the mundane play acting. And are you going to find anybody like that with a high frequency and a high uh, moral fiber that is beyond morality? Let's not say moral fiber. Let's just say a consciousness that is beyond morality and sees the yin and yang and the duality of life. Okay. Again, there is no right and wrong as far as that goes. I mean, one man's morality is another man's immorality, and one man's black is another man's white, and yin and yang, baby. So that's all just absurd and ridiculous, okay? And they use these things like getting their hand slapped, naughty boy, naughty girl, that's not Christian, that's not, by who's, you know, there goes another thing. If they were like, if they called themselves Christians, I don't know if they do, but would they be judging one another and would they be even involved in the bantering and the accusatory language and the rumors and backbiting, and how is that? How is that a display of love on the Yeshua level, on the Jesus level that they claim to follow or adhere to? And that's where all this moral judgment comes in, and then you got the playing off of the sexes, and trying to fire up the women's lib crew, and women, using women in general, using women in a much worse way than you could sexually, using women to frame people. Okay, I would think women would get sick of that shit, really. Where are the women standing up going, don't bring sex into this, don't bring women into this? Uh, we all have our proclivities for certain things based on our primal urge, so let's just throw that shit right out of the fucking window. This is what irritates the hell out of me, is that they're doing all this stuff on a very, very low level. And as far as people suffering, and as far as people, mankind in the world suffering, thunder for president, okay? I wouldn't even take the job. I wouldn't, because it's beneath me. Okay. It's beneath me. If there was a write-in campaign for Thunder to be president, I'd refuse the job, because I wouldn't want to be classed in put in that class of people. I'll just remain the astute, spiritually minded, high frequency, holy man living in the friggin' desert, okay? I'm happy with my lot in life. I don't even want their money, okay? So, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And if they're not corrupt when they go in, which they both are, both of them are corrupt to the core. If you want to try to define what corrupt is, again, we're back to another man's morality is another man, because to me, the ultimate corruptness is playing people, okay, using people. Okay, that's to me is what corrupt is. Okay, using others to get something you want without any regard to their feelings. Using others like grist in the mill. Countless thousands and thousands of lives we're talking about here, to get in a powerful position, to maintain power, to get land, get prestige. Why would anybody want to be president? That's another thing I was thinking, scratching my head. Yeah, I mean, like, why would anybody want to be freaking president? What is it like being it's like a fraternity thing, head of the fraternity, or head of the, head of the class, or class president, or homecoming queen. Man, that stuff is so infantile. It's so infantile. What are the benefits? Can we say lots of fucking money? That's what it's for. That's what the benefits are. The benefits are I can make a lot of freaking money, as if they both don't have enough. Both of them are billionaires. Billionaires. Okay? So is that a motivating factor? Is that saying true where you never, the more you get, the more you want? People are living on the streets homeless, and we got two billionaires vying to be class president. And they will never do a damn thing that they say. Has any politician ever really fulfilled promises in recent history? Any kind of promises? Look at the last president. Um, Change you can believe in. I'm going to close Guantanamo. I'm going to get the troops out of Afghanistan. I'm going to make affordable health care. I'm going to. None of that has happened. None of it. Okay. Including the affordable health care, which is causing people's and rates to skyrocket. Are we out of Afghanistan? No. Are we? Has Guantanamo been closed? No. Has the economy improved? No. 20 trillion in debt? Yeah, it's really improved, hasn't it? If the truth be known, it's more like 120 trillion in debt, and we're on the verge of financial collapse in America. Okay. And there's more people suffering now than ever suffered before, and we're on the verge of nuclear war. Change you can believe in, baby. Man. So, you got to look at it for how it is. It's a big charade. Okay. Politics is a big charade, a big distraction to get all these sheep to drink the Kool-Aid of intoxication and distraction of two people vying for a position that is not going to benefit the masses in any way, shape, or form. How do you like that for a definition? Not going to benefit anybody in any way, shape, or form. All it's going to do is cost them money contributing to the different candidates, and cost them time, and cost them an emotional letdown, because again, they never fulfilled their promises. Hell, they're lawyers. Okay, lawyers, liars, lawyers. You get the drift here. Thunder's growing a beard, by the way. I don't know if you can see it. Uh, it's gray, and I'm in a certain light, so you probably can't see it that well, but it's coming right along. Just something to do, you know, just a little change. Maybe I'm getting into, see, besides having Native American blood, I also have Nordic blood. Okay. And so maybe I'm getting into the Viking thing. Whichever way, I love the warrior thing. Yeah, just shaking my head. As far as the situation in Syria, I did send out a bunch of posts to my circles in regards to three just blistering exposés on how we're being lied to by the CIA, the media controlled by the CIA, how it's been that way for decades, and how it's just getting worse and worse. Psychological operations, okay, psyops through the media. Uh, complete twisting and bending of any kind of truth that you might trying to be looking for. There is no truth anymore, people. Not 1 ounce of truth. You will not find one truthful situation or narrative in the mainstream media. It's all controlled. Matter of fact, they passed a law that says it's legal to do that, so that doesn't really make any difference because they've been doing it anyway. It's legal to propagandize your own nation of people. It's legal to lie, okay, is what they're saying. It's legal. Propaganda is just another word for lying. It's legal to lie to the people of your nation and not be truthful with them, but it doesn't make any difference whether it's legal or not, because they've been doing it for decades. And it's this psyops thing with the CIA manipulating the media started way back in World War I and II, probably before that. Not to the extent that it is now, where nothing is truthful. Used to be where you could find some truth in newspapers and media when I was a kid. But now, no, it's totally controlled and totally biased and totally manipulated by the powers to be, by the deep state. So you're not going to find truth. Where is truth? Well, it's not in politics. It's not in the mainstream media. It's not in religion, organized religion. So where do you find truth? Well, you're watching you're watching a channel for truth right now. I try to be truthful as much as I can. Gets me in trouble too, lots of trouble. I don't care, you know. I say what I feel. And when I say truth, it's my truth. In other words, I speak not to manipulate or to try to sway anybody's opinion, or I speak to teach things that may be truths or nuggets of wisdom that I've come upon in my life. I appreciate, I've been getting some emails from different people and that have read my book, and I appreciate the feedback of those people, you know, especially since it's positive and it's saying that it's really helping them and it's making a difference in their life. It's amazing you can still buy my book and it's out of print. Once you get a book published, it just keeps recirculating and recirculating. Hell, there's even new copies of it still. Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart is the name of the book. It's an award-winning book. Then I have 2 other books, Emergence and Thunder in the Wind. And I'm working on another one called Renegade Scout, which is about the Apache Kid. I haven't finished that one yet. It's about flow, you know. It's about, it's not writer's block particularly. It's about formulating in your own mind how you want the story to play out. Waiting for inspirational ideas. I'm just chattering today. Thunder in the desert here. Man, it's starting to get really cool, but then boom, it'll spring back and a little bit warmer and cooler. But we're in between summer and guess we're in fall. It's interesting here. Definitely inspiring on a natural level. Even though it's harsh. I don't know. I guess I gabbed enough today. I'm trying to think about. I don't want to really dwell on this thing with how bad a situation we're in with the world right now. I just wish people would wake up, raise that level of consciousness a little bit, and get beyond all this. Man, I'll be glad when this political bullshit's over with. Not that it bothers. You know what? When I actually had to force myself to watch that debate. Uh, I don't know, but when I did watch it, it was kind of funny. It was fun. It was actually fun because it was such a joke, so hilarious. I spent half the time laughing at the everybody. If you take your if you're looking at it like you know a cartoon show, say, um, and that's what these characters are like, little cartoon characters. Politics is such a sham, such a sham. You know, be glad when this is over with because it just muddies the water as far as see, they twist things. They twist economic numbers. They twist situational things in the world during the political season. The propaganda ramps up, okay, and it's the deep state ramping it up for agendas or to try to funnel people into a certain mindset or a certain candidate that they already have picked out. They already have a person picked out that they want to be in there, and uh, they manipulate numbers on the financial level to bolster the whatever party might be in office that's already in office. If they want that same Democrat or Republican or whatever, they'll jockey the numbers more. They'll stave off collapses. Uh, they'll create situations in the world that are conducive to one individual or another. It's far-reaching, this charade. Okay, the political charade is far-reaching into all areas of your life, mainly to keep you distracted from what's really going on. Okay, mainly for that, but I'd say that was probably 90% of their reason, is to keep the distraction, keep the illusion that people have a choice. See, the illusion of choice. That's what really this all boils down to, isn't it? Is that they're propagating an illusion of choice when you have no choice, when it's all played out behind the scenes. It's just like making deals in the back room. It's like the back room poker game of politics and government, and everything is politics and government. Everything. And the poor masses are that are out there, the masses of humanity, are just being used and abused and manipulated. When you try to look at the right or wrong of it, or the real spirituality of it, it doesn't really make sense. Doesn't really make sense what they're doing. The I Ching says when the evil are rulers, the people suffer. Okay, when you don't have a benevolent ruler, Like in medieval China, there was both benevolent and malevolent, good and bad. Rulers that are genuinely for the people and for the prosperity and welfare and well-being of the people. Or those that really don't give a goddamn about the people and just want to use them, you know, to further whatever agenda they have. But see, the thing is that when you look at it, why would you want to further an agenda that is harmful to everybody? That's if you have a choice between feel good and not feel good, why would you want to go with not feel good, not empower, not because on both ends it feels good when you treat the people good. They know a righteous ruler and they honor that person. You ain't going to find that in the West anywhere. You might find it in other countries where people actually genuinely think that their rulers are doing well for them. Those would be the countries where people are not in a perpetual state of suppression and oppression and anxiety. And although the world is a good deal of that, I guess it would be the lesser of the two evils. Anytime that anybody is trying to point fingers at another person and make them the bad guy, like the West is doing with Russia and Putin right now, you can be sure that that person is of a higher, I'm not saying moral character, or maybe a higher sense of spirituality, or a higher, let's say, a benevolent leader of their nation. There's always a certain amount of corruptness, okay, in any nation or any leader. But you have to look for usually the people that are being vilified and the people that are doing something right are the ones that are vilified. The ones that are doing something right, or the ones that are benevolent, are going to be vilified by those that aren't, because those that aren't don't want people to see the glaringly obvious contrast between what is benevolent and what is malevolent. So as soon as they find somebody out there like Putin or any other leader that is doing good for their people and treating them right and fair and honest and being truthful with them, they're going to vilify that person, because they don't want the contrast, like between black and white, to be apparent, okay? So they will demonize and criminalize and frame and do anything they can to make that person look bad. Black is white, white is black, okay? Black is white, white is black. PSYOPs, right out of the Psychological Operations Manual, Unconventional Warfare Manual, which is based on lies and deceit and propaganda and framing and murder and turning one faction against another. Just like we see here in the States right now with the black and white thing and the cop killings and blah 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 blah. And this is all being orchestrated by people like George Soros and NGOs and people that contribute their 2 cents worth by buying off humanity. More than 2 cents worth, they control the whole show. Buying off humanity. Manipulating the world stage. by some, according to some sick agenda that they have in their own mind, some kind of mental masturbation, okay, that is really what we'd call perverted. Forget this stuff about so-and-so did this and so-and-so did that, like we have in the political arena right now. How about mental masturbation and perversion on a high, deep, dark level? Agendas in a person's mind where they have enough money, okay, enough money to buy off the whole freaking nation, the whole, maybe countries. That to me is about as deep and dark and dangerous as you can get, and that's what we're dealing with, aren't we? So people that are coming from a high frequency of honesty and truthfulness and peace and love and unity find it really difficult to get along in this this world the way it is. For me, I look at it a lot of times from a Taoist point of view, but I do have this warrior side to me. I have this warrior side that you wouldn't know it right now because I'm speaking in a mellow way, but I have this warrior side that wants to just get up, draw the sword, and draw some blood, okay, and kick some ass on these clowns because I'm a martial artist and I'm a warrior, and it's deeply ingrained in me. It'd be just like if I was walking along the street and I saw some thug trying to grab a woman's purse or grab her by the hair to rape her or something like that. I would take immediate action. Or any individual harming a kid, anybody that I considered was a defenseless person being taken advantage of, I would step in without even thinking about it. Protection of your fellow man, protection of the innocents. But it's when you're in a situation in this world where nobody wants to do that, nobody wants to warrior up, nobody wants to say, Hoka, hey, it is a good day to die, I don't care, I'm going to go down the road of righteousness. When you don't have other individuals willing to link their hands or arms with you and march forward to overthrow oppression, just like in my last video I talked about the French underground and the Nazi dilemma they had in Paris and how that was overthrown. What's that saying about when good people stand by and do nothing? I'm trying to remember that saying. It slips me right now, but it's called an unfeeling society, so it's not wrong to be a warrior if you're a warrior for the people. If you're a warrior for the state, you're in big trouble, because being a warrior for the state is just being used as a pawn for other people's agendas. But being a warrior for like a tribe, okay, or a group of people, or humanity as a whole, is an honorable thing, both on a physical and spiritual level. And people just don't have that sense of caring about their fellow man over themselves anymore, or caring about mankind as a whole, humanity as a whole, or the planet as a whole, or the natural order of things as a whole. So, anyway, these are things to think about, people. And if you're thinking in the same, if you're of the same mindset, or you're thinking in the same general direction that I am, well, I welcome you. I welcome you into my world. There's a group of us in the Campfire Council that think this way, a group of kindred souls. There's links below if you ever, if you want to consider being joining, or being. Well, let's put it this way: you can ask to join, and we consider it. Got a great group of people there that support each other on a mental, physical, and spiritual level every day. Cheer each other up, provide intel, deep intel base as to what's going on in the world. Prayer circles. Just a little part of the internet that is beneath the radar. Anyway, I guess I'll leave it there today. I've rambled on enough. Hope you got something out of this. If you didn't get anything, how about just, it's nice to sit down with Thunder and have a great conversation, maybe over a cup of coffee or your morning breakfast or something, and realize that if you think like I do, that there's other people that are thinking like you are, and hopefully all of us will somehow overcome the situation at hand. All right, I'm out of here. This is Thunder in the Desert. Man, I'm trying to think of a Viking term to use. May the gods be with you. May Thor be with you, the thunder god of the Viking people. I think he is the son of Odin. See you in Valhalla. That's kind of like their heaven. Yeah. All right. I'm out of here. Bye.